Send it like a picture from the channel page, I think. All right, we should be live again. Let's see what happens. All right, so if you're catching this version of the live stream, I don't know, we had some issues with it getting frozen, black screen, choppiness. Hopefully now it should be, I don't know, working properly. So I guess this will be the continuation slash, I don't know. Yeah, I guess the continuation. And I can't get the stream up here anymore.
I'm not finding it either. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not finding it either. Oh, wait a minute. Alright, so that's better.
The delay.
Yeah. Alright, so that's better.
See if
Yeah, it's only a couple seconds now instead of like infinity.
so odd. Alright, well I guess we're back. See how long it lasts for. Alright, so
That is very weird.
super weird, man. I don't get that.
That is very weird.
Alright, it seems like we're on a good delay now too.
Yeah. A few seconds maybe.
Alright, so I guess we'll wait for people to filter back in, but
Yeah,
it seems to always take a second to get going too.
that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Okay, so we're back. Thanks for catching this second part of the live stream. The first part, for some reason, got all janked up. I don't know what happened.
You ended up on a fucking 5-minute delay.
Yeah.
And then a black screen.
So Jay, it's good to see you, my friend. I haven't seen you in a week now, and then prior to that, it was the social media blackout. So you've been pretty
Right.
busy. I mean, we caught up the 1 week. I was in Syracuse last week, hanging with Sean, doing some stuff.
Yep.
We streamed from there. Obviously, Jay couldn't make it, so this is our catch-up stream. I want to know what's going on with you.
Well, like I was trying to say through the chop before.
Yeah. So you've been going
Like I was
around,
trying to say
kind
through
of
the
finding
chop
people's old gear to use. for the
Yeah,
shop.
basically the shop is looking for vintage pieces for their inventory. So since they don't have time to go and deal with it, I'm rounding up prospects and letting them handle the initial offers. And then I'm going to go out with test gear and a guitar and do the final haggle and see what I can come home with.
'Cause they're
and then
kind of
I'll get a-
scouring the internet for deals, and they're gonna send
They
you
scour everything everywhere for deals, but yeah, basically I'm working as scout to try to find the things, and then they're gonna like intermediate to start with, and I'll go and close it.
Cool.
So, but I found a student model amp in Massachusetts that I'm after that I know they won't want. That has a Unidyne 3 Shure microphone with it that's worth two
You
or
found
three
some on
times.
Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, it's worth 2 or 3 times more than the student model amp that I want. So if I can get the lady to agree to ship that to me, I'll be able to get the amp and the mic for a very low price, and then sell the mic for probably 2 or 3 times what I'm paying for the whole thing.
Nice, man.
So I'll make money on that. But it's a neat little. It's like probably a 10 or 12 watt solid state little student model thing, but it's cool looking. I'll show you a picture of it later.
Yeah. It's a tube amp?
No, it's solid state. It's just a cool little funky thing. Something fun to play with. But I bought that drum machine I was telling you about.
Oh yeah, can we get that in the shot?
Probably.
This shot's wide.
Fucking behemoth.
This is Jay's latest acquisition. This thing's pretty sick. How did you? This is on Facebook too?
This was on Facebook also. I've been looking at these for a long time. And they usually go for a significant amount more than I paid for this one. So this is a Hammond Auto Very 64 drum machine. It's fucking huge. It's meant to go on top of like a console organ in your living room or whatever. 16 patterns with 4 variations each. The Auto Vary lets you cycle through the four versions of each pattern as it counts measures. Then you got a tempo pot and a volume pot and a start stop.
Dude, I love the aesthetic of that thing.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty fucking chill, man. But feel that thing. That's no bullshit.
No way, this is crazy. Yeah, it's like the size of a keyboard.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, obviously it goes on top, but
It goes on top of like a console organ though, like a.
Jason said he had a similar one at one point but sold it.
Yeah, ask him. Jason, how much did you get for it? Why am I asking you to ask him?
Yeah, he can hear you. Yeah, that thing's awesome, man. So Jay's been going around hitting up a lot of the used market stuff, man. I kind of gave up with that stuff. Although I realize that, you know, as somebody, as a musician, as I'm sure anybody watching this who's into music and recording stuff, it's like, you get a pretty good encyclopedic knowledge of all this gear and prices, and
For sure.
I can look at listings on like those sites and just be like, okay, that thing is worth more than that, or this is too much, or that's a good deal, or that's a rare thing. Like, I don't know. It's a good amount of knowledge to have, but I just never put it to use, and I just feel like it's harder today with every like, I don't know. A lot
Well,
of people
reverb kind of ruined it for
yeah.
you know people that want to try to do that.
Yeah,
But
just eBay too is like the thing.
Yeah.
Too, you know, like I'm not saying it's like obviously we all like to get good deals on gear at garage sales and things like that, but you know it's tough for the hobbyist and like the person who just wants to acquire more gear. Like I know because there's always people in this kind of like it may be similar to like obviously the guys that you're working for are trying to make money,
Mhm.
but you know in terms of people wanting to get more gear. I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, okay, it's cool that you know people can get their money's worth out of it.
Jason, I also only paid about 50.
Nice.
Matt, it sounds like the preamps that are in there to amplify the playhead are fucked up. That would be my guess. The output amplifier is working fine, which is why you can listen to radio from it. It's the preamps that are you know, being fed by the tape head that are of issue. My guess.
Yeah, with I guess the bookend, the thing I was thinking about, it's just like, I think it's, you know, like there are certain people just trying to make money from gear and things
Sure.
like any other hobby, but you know, in terms of music stuff, it's just like, I don't know. I think it was cool when you could kind of get different things and never know what you're gonna find places.
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's kind of a different. I mean, I guess it's still like that, like more to a minuscule percentage.
Yeah, you have to be really selective about what it is that you're looking at now. And you really have to comb the ads hard because everybody knows what their, you know, 67 fucking Princeton's worth, and you know. So I mean, it is good. It's good to be an informed buyer as much as it is to be an informed seller.
But I think sometimes that can create these like artificial markets for stuff.
It does,
Or
and
price ranges.
but one thing you can't wring out of that whole thing is people's need to get the money back out of something. That'll always be part of it. So it doesn't matter if that Princeton's worth, you know, 900 to 1200.
That person.
If his fucking car broke down and he needs $400, I bet you leave there with it for about $400.
Yeah.
Because that's how the shit works.
Yeah.
You know, I got something that's worth $1,000, but I'm really hurting for like $300. You probably could have it for about $500.
Probably get it. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I think it's good in a way.
And I don't mean to make that sound predatory. That's not really what it is. I mean, if it's already up there for sale, though, it's going to get haggled. That's the nature of that beast.
Right.
I don't think I've ever bought anything without at least trying to discuss the price, except maybe that drum machine.
Right.
But
and you knew that was a good price. Anyway.
I already knew it was too good to try to beat them up on. So
Yeah.
you know, reverb prices on those are like $250.
Yeah.
So, and I've
Yeah,
seen them
you
go
got a good
higher
deal.
than that. So yeah, I think so, and it works.
And then clearly the guy didn't want it for whatever reason. Jason was saying with the person had no idea what they had, but then he ultimately never used it. So
That guy, the guy I got it from knew what it was.
Did he have it hooked up to his PA or anything?
Not when I got there, but I had been in contact with, I think, his wife or girlfriend or maybe his daughter throughout the course of the day with Facebook Messenger trying to figure out how to go get it so somebody else didn't go get it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the only thing it really needs is there's a little bit of, don't know if it's moisture damage or what. On the one edge, there's a little bit of black paint chipped off it. So it needs a little paint touch up, and the volume pot could stand to be cleaned, but you know, I'm gonna park it in the studio and play with it until I'm bored of it,
Sick,
and
yeah.
then
You should make a video on it for your channel.
I mean, there's videos up already of a lot of people playing with those things, but
There's 40 flavors of ice cream,
yeah,
but you had the
you'd be
41st
41.
flavor, and I wanted that one. I would watch yours.
Yeah. Yes, Stefan. Deluxe reverb would be sweet. They're always pretty expensive. It's also pretty easy to sell crap I've lying around. I don't use much. Yeah, the deluxe reverbs, you know, I wouldn't fuck with the deluxe reverb if it's not blackface, if I'm telling the truth. The silver face ones just have a different thing. They're much more metallic and tighter. But, you know, Princeton also never gets old. So,
Champ too.
yeah, I mean,
Not really that different.
and you can still find deals on all that shit out there. You just gotta you gotta be there at the right time.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff and that's the thing. That stuff goes quick.
And the guys that get that stuff are the guys that wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to check, and you know they're sitting around like eating a fucking English muffin, drinking coffee, combing Craigslist or whatever, and they're sniping that shit before you're even awake in the morning.
There's ways that they have certain alerts set up
Sure,
too.
I'm sure.
They know as soon as something goes live on there, it spits them an email that says, "New listing for deluxe reverb." You know, I know because I've seen people who have alerts like that set up. I'm not going to name any names, but I know that kind of thing exists, and
Yeah.
people are doing that.
Yeah, it's all based on like metadata and shit, right?
Yeah.
The silver faces are never more desirable than the black faces. That's not a thing.
I mean,
But in the collector market, tweed, brown, blonde, whichever, blackface, silver face, and then the second era, the Rivera era blackface, which is like Princeton 2, Concert 2, Super Champ, all those fucking things. Those are also blackface, but that's 80s and later shit. You don't. That's
Yeah, you
not.
don't-
I wouldn't go there either. It kind of sucks.
What is the feud? I haven't heard about that. I Hate God and Senator. Turtle Knife, you could fill us in. That'd be awesome. Curious about that.
Where are you seeing this?
Oh, you have it on live chat?
Oh, yeah.
Turtle
Thank
Knife
God,
said
and that dickhead
there's a
Senator
feud,
Sorrow,
some kind of
that's
feud.
great. Huh,
There's-
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that. Definitely fill us in. I'm curious. Oh yeah, eBay has alerts too. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends. Like I was thinking about this in terms of somebody I used to know, and it's like in terms of personalities. You know, even with this kind of stuff, I just don't have the personality that's like cutthroat about it, or like I'm gonna like wake up at like a certain like neither one of us are gonna do that. I
Nah,
just feel like that's where those deals.
I'm
are.
just gonna comb through shit and try to cull out
Yeah,
things
if
that
I
are.
know I'm looking for
So-
a tube MP, I'll just look up one on.
I actually saw 2 of them today.
Right.
One on Craigslist Albany and one on Facebook Marketplace.
Cool.
One for 25 and one for 40.
No, you're like if I know what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
I'll just look it up and buy one that is that,
But-
or wait for one that comes up at a good price.
So I went through and I generated a list of like 14 things. And then I went on Google Maps and I figured out how far those things were. And ones that were any further than an hour away, I threw away. It's just not worth it.
So what's your criteria like when you're searching for Craigslist? Like how did you know there was one in Albany? That's just you just search like neighboring Craigslist.
Well, when you go to Craigslist, you could spend the whole day on New York City Craigslist if you want to. When you go to Craigslist, up in the top corner it'll give you the region based on what your ISDN is or whatever the fuck.
ISP, yeah.
ISP, yeah.
And then because like I know when you search, sometimes people say no local results, but there's one in Syracuse. There's one.
Yeah, but if you go in that top corner and click that thing, there's a pull down that comes down and it'll give you all the other
okay.
options in New York State. And there's a shit ton of them. They're all over the place. There's one out Buffalo Way. There's the Catskill region. There's Hudson Valley. There's
Tri-Cities or like
Yep.
yeah.
there's New York City, there's the boroughs, there's Long Island, there's a shit ton of them. So it all
That's
depends.
crazy. So like the guys at the store you work for then feel that they can pay you, have you drive around and get this stuff, and still make a profit off of like collecting all this like stuff that they get a good deal on it.
Theoretically, yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically the setup for me is that I'll get gas reimbursed, I'll get some of the time reimbursed, and I'll also pick up the service work for cleaning the shit up and anything it needs. So, and they won't have to spend the time to go get it, and we'll actually know what we're looking at when it comes in the door instead of, he's brought things in before and he's been like, oh, it just needs a power cord, and I open it up and it's missing the power amp. Like it needs more than a power cord. It's incomplete. So.
Okay, so Turtleneck said.
Yeah, it's something I'm kind of excited about trying to do, Jason. Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean.
I like to go and fucking play gear anyway, so I mean.
Traveling's fun.
Worst case, I drive around for a day and play a bunch of cool shit that nobody wants to sell me at the money that I'm offering. Went and talked to some people and played some cool shit, and I went the fuck home. Win some, you lose some.
It's a good day.
Yeah, same thing I'm thinking.
So the I hate God thing, Turtleneck said, some promoter used an image of some senator eating a baby, and he thought I hate God was an event someplace was having and called some pizza joint satanic. Yeah, I know a little bit about the pizza joint, because at one point I was almost going to be playing there. I was in talks with a promoter a couple of years ago about that. Before all this there was this Pizzagate thing that happened. Do you remember hearing about this?
Yeah.
And it was, for some reason, somebody who was looking at the Hillary Clinton email server, there's a place called Comet Ping Pong, I think, and it's a pizza place in Washington, D.C. And I guess for some reason people made the connection that because they were talking about going there, being there after work, that this was like a child dungeon pedophile ring thing. And it was like, they went so far as some guy showed up there with like a gun and went to the back room and was like shooting, or like shot this gun, tried to get into like a back room by shooting the door or something. Some guy thought he was going to like save all these kids because of like people's rumors and fake news on, it's crazy. But anyway, so I don't know, it seemed like a pretty cool venue before all this stuff. But yeah, for some reason all these people seem to think this place is, I don't know, it's very odd. The whole thing is very weird. But that's Pizzagate. It's just a pizza place. From what I understand.
Anything that causes stir, man. Anything that causes stir.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, it's separate from that. Oh, jeez. Okay. I thought that was the... My bad. Okay, so that's a whole other... So there's just a lot of people that think pizza places have some satanic element to them.
That's funny shit.
That's crazy. I don't know. We'll have to check that link out. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff in the music world. So I recorded my other band, Swearwolf, on the 414. We recorded. Nice, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, excellent.
Oh, Stephen also said there's certain 45s, but they also sell for $70 to $150. There's no record in the world. Yeah, that's a lot, man, for one record.
I got a Lead Belly record that's worth about $45.
Sick. Like
I think that's probably my most actually my most expensive record is probably Hendrix Live at Reading. But is it Reading? Yeah, I think it's Reading. Yeah.
Oh, Stephen said everything was too loud and blown out. Damn. So you guys were just rocking it then? Must have been.
Fuck, I'm getting tired, man.
Dude, me too.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
I feel like super tired all of a sudden. There's not like what is that called? The carbon monoxide?
I don't think so.
No. We start like falling asleep on here.
Call the appropriate authorities.
Call the appropriate authorities. Dude, me too. I'm just like getting, I don't know what it is. Okay. Sorry, we're a little little, I don't know. Well, what do you guys think about, hey, Finlay, what's going on? Thanks for catching us on the stream. What do you guys think about the 388? I think it is overpriced.
I think it's overhyped also.
Yeah, I think it's overhyped too. It's really cool.
It's fucking neat, but it's
really
not.
Cool. But yeah, I think that's a great question.
It's not like a couple K worth of neat.
The thing is, like, there's a few bands like the OCs. They've used one. There are a bunch of other bands that.
Yeah, they used one, but then it was bulk
Black
dumped.
Keys made a record on it.
Yeah, but the OCs used one and then bulk dumped it into the studio system at Jackpot, and it was mixed there. So.
Okay. I guess what I'm saying is it's again a classic case of the lure surrounding the piece of gear, and anything that has. It's also just a very rare. Like, I don't think there's anything else that exists like that. It basically looks like a big 4-track.
Giant.
And the tape too, Finlay, I think, right? It's 1/4 inch, which isn't any much better than a cassette.
It's 1/4 inch, and I think it's on 3.5-inch reels.
Yeah.
It hides in that little trap door.
Yeah. It's really cool. I mean, it's super cool. I love the concept of it. And I think that's also why it gets hyped, because there's nothing else that exists that's really like
Well, I think it also gets hyped because there's not that many of them left.
That too. I remember I almost got one at one point. Well, I mean, it was a drive, it was like a thing for you Massachusetts, and I don't know. I decided against it eventually just because it already wasn't in great shape, and the prospect of trying to fix one and getting parts, especially because they're rare.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there's a guy selling a Fostex M80 like what you got in Woodstock for $150 right now.
Is that
Yeah.
Does it work?
He said it did. That one was on, I think, Hudson Valley Craigslist. I think.
Could look it up. East River Pipe and Ty Segall, right? Ty Segall, Segall, yeah. That's what I mean. I think that's part of the lure of it too. Is like there's a lot of, especially the type of bands, at least Ty Segall, the OCs, Black Keys.
The TascFam 38, Stefan, is
garage music or something.
Is what the guy gave me over this past summer. It's an 8-track, 1/2 inch. It's hiding out in my barn right now because I got nowhere else to put it. It's fucking huge.
Yeah, I saw that. It was like covered in the.
You should record a song in this room. Is that what you mean? Little bonky echo.
Oh yeah, here it is. Fostex M80 reel-to-reel. I have a Fostex. I never use it, so I'd like it to go to a good home. It worked when I used it a few years ago, but I have not tested it. Selling it as is. I should contact this guy and see what up. I don't know though. I mean, I know we have one unit now. That's basically a parts not working unit.
Yeah.
So if this one worked or almost worked. Let's see, $150. I don't know.
Well, if that one's in real good shape,
it kind of looks. I mean, who knows? Yeah.
If that one's in good shape,
good shape,
if it's in real good shape, then the one that you have could be the parts unit for it.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what David was saying. Thank you so much, David. By the way, if you ever watch this, for sending it in. That's what he was saying too. I spoke with him about it. He's like, well, I was also thinking about using it just as like a set piece. Maybe I'll just get a roll of tape and set it up and just make it pretty in the background. If you ever have like a stage or something for the I don't know. We have like a set. That's what I was trying to say.
The TascFam 38, if it doesn't need any parts of its own, you're gonna need 2 empty reels. You're gonna need a pancake of tape, and you really should have an alignment reel to be able to set the thing up with too. The MRL test reel. So like the price of admission on that's like however much the machine costs. The reel is $200 plus. A pancake is about $96, and then 2 empty reels I think cost me $75, or maybe it was $45. I can't remember.
38.
Yeah, for the 38.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Jason said there's one on Craigslist, 12 hundo.
For the 388.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also what Finlay said. $1,200 in the Bay Area. That seems to be about the price of it. Yeah. That's the one I've seen. The one I was looking at was like, I think it was a K, you know, which still I think is overpriced, overhyped. But
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them for a lot more than that, but
I mean, it seems like a cool machine. It seems like a lot of us have all at one point thought about getting one.
yeah,
Sure
I mean,
as shit,
but I mean, desktop wise, that takes up a lot of fucking space. Those
Yeah.
things are big.
Yeah, I couldn't
And,
commit either, Jason. Definitely.
you sort of just gotta wonder if like that sort of real estate is really worth it.
Well, see, today, if you had one of those, you could just base your whole studio around it.
Well, you would build your studio around it totally.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like that could be your thing, because so many people are interested in using one.
Mm-hmm.
That could be your hook. You know,
Yeah.
I got a 388 studios, 388 recording.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Start a channel. Jason said he ended up getting the 424. Nice. Yeah, that's the whole thing, Stefan. They're nice and portable. It's literally a portable studio that you can use. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just a lot to commit to a machine that, I don't know. I mean, my thing with it too is if something goes wrong with it, what do you do? You know, and that's kind of what Stefan's saying too.
Well,
with the 38, it's a lot of money. That's what we talked about
Yeah.
too with the tape stuff.
It's a serious investment, man.
We
You
wanted
don't.
to do stuff with it, and
It's not something you can just sort of half-ass. You can't like part way get into it. You
Yeah.
either are or you aren't.
you got to go full force, 100% into it, and you got to have a blank check. You got to have a checkbook, man.
Or you got to do what I'm doing and collect little pieces at a time, and
Yeah,
you know,
totally more,
until
right.
you got all the ducks in a row. If I get a test reel, then I can take the rubber parts that I've collected and put that machine together and see what happens. You know, someday.
Yeah. Jason said, I'm building my studio around the 424. I call it 424 recording. All right, you better file that paperwork soon.
Oh shit.
Nah, you can do that. That's what I was thinking originally with mine too. Like that was one of the things I offered when I was looking for some clients locally was, 4-track recording. I did a bunch of stuff too with Hapro and Sean with that. And everybody who's never really used one, who then uses one, is like, this thing sounds awesome.
It's kind of like ADAT. People have no fucking idea what that format is or how it works,
I know you
but
always
once you
mention
do it and you hear it, it's like, it's not quite tape, but it's a whole lot different than DAW.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So what are the prices on that? Is that easy to get into, or
yeah, it's cheap. You can get one of those machines with.
what's the deal with the machines? Because like it's all internal. How does it work? What is the format?
It's a VCR basically.
So it's like the ADATs are like physical tapes that you need to buy?
It's an SVHS tape, yeah, basically.
I know they're still readily available.
You can get them right off of eBay, yeah. Yeah, I used to buy them 5 or 10 at a time, but yeah.
So what do you think the average price is to get into like ADAT recording?
Well, all you really need to get into ADAT recording is the machine, a couple of snakes to be able to hook it up to stuff, because it's either light pipe connection, 8-channel, That's why they call it ADAT connection, because that's where it originated. So you got to be able to get audio into and back out of it. There is no mixer built in, so it's 8 in and 8 back out. So you need the machine, you need some cableage. A head cleaner cassette is a good thing, and a couple ADAT tapes. You can get into that format for, $250 easy.
This seems like the thing to get into, man.
It's really fucking easy. You just have to find a machine
I never
that,
hear anybody talking about it.
yeah, because it's a thing of the past. It was hot as shit, like in
4
the
tracks, the TascFam 388, the 38. Like, that's really,
look
that's all part of the
when.
I never hear people that are like, my ADAT system, like, you gotta come record on my ADAT.
Well, the way it worked is studios had tape machines, right, and they got up to 24 tracks, and then like the radar system was out there and shit, the Otari radar, and that was sort of catching ground a little bit, and then fucking Elisa's dumped the ADAT, and now studios could have. You could have 96 you could have 96 live tracks at a time if you wanted to with that fucking thing. However many you needed, you just kept stacking ADATs up. You could have a fucking whole wall full of goddamn things. They have sync ports on the back, so you can interlink them, and they go to what's called the BRC. It's a big remote control like this on a little cart, and every
BRC,
function,
that's like
yeah,
the BFG.
yeah. But every single fucking function you need that thing to do is on this control panel, and when they're all synced and hooked to that fucking thing, when you hit like locate 0, they all go click, and there you are. It's totally synchronous. Each one will do 8 tracks. So you could stack it, up to whatever. But then...
You heard it here first, folks.
But then digital recording really, Pro Tools came out sort of in the middle of that wave, and it took a little while to catch on. But once it caught on, like when Pro Tools 2 and 3 came out, man, ADATs that was garage sale shit.
Yeah. It's by the sound of it, it sounds like it would be a format would make sense for even people that are into this channel,
Yeah, for sure.
4-track recording,
My ADAT rig is a Behringer 8-channel line mixer, a single ADAT, some snakes, and I use a Soundcraft board with 8 direct outs on it. It's the easiest way to do it. You can go cut fucking all sorts of shit with that. I made tons of guerrilla recorded punk rock records that way.
We got some comments coming through. Matt, he's been wanting to try VHS bounce tracks. I've heard about that too. Never tried it. I think that's a little bit different than ADAT though, right?
Well,
that's literally using a VHS.
Just the audio portions.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Turtleneck. This is an interesting one. There's always those cheap 70s, 80s solid-state bass combos online on Craigslist. I wonder if they'll become a thing at some point. Cheap 2x15 cabs as well. I don't think that the really big stuff like the 2x15 will ever become a thing again. I mean, right now it's
it is with the doom bands, and it always will be.
Yeah, metal stuff, whatever,
stoner sludge stuff.
Yeah, and that's that's huge
sure.
right now. That's
sure.
But I mean, aside from that, I don't know. I do see some bands using those sort of full stacks and half stacks, but I don't know if that'll ever come really full back around again. I don't know. What do you think, Jay, about the bass combos?
I think most of the 70s and 80s bass combos that are out there probably sound better with guitar anyway. The little cheap shit, the Univox, the UB20s and 30s and shit like that. Most of the Harmony tube stuff from the 60s and 70s. Same thing. They sound like fucking balls with bass, but that's a killer fucking guitar amp, man.
Yeah.
So, I think there are people who are cognizant of the fact that those exist and who experiment with them and use them for what they're good for. But just because it says bass amp doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you want to run it on either.
Sure.
Or run through it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, how do all fads start, right? I mean, I think it's partially the type of bands that use stuff
That's exactly how it starts.
Yeah,
Jack White with the fucking silver tones,
that's
man.
Exactly what I was thinking.
You couldn't give away a Twin 12 before Jack White happened. Now you can't fucking buy one for less than $1,000.
You couldn't give them
They were fucking. It was like those.
Well, that's how all the gear gets that lure to it.
Sure. The Black Keys have been fucking that up for everybody for a long time.
The guitars, the guys, the airline stuff.
Yeah. A lot of those guys, they fucking totally destroy the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Is you could get. At one point, you could get these guitars very cheaply too. They look cool. They have a distinct sound. The artist enjoys playing them, and then, we see them and they're like, "That's fucking cool. I want to get that too." Next thing you know, there's a market for it where there wasn't before. You go into an antique shop or someplace, and you want to sell you those Harmony guitars for $30 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's the same thing. It's you probably can't find one for under a couple hundred. Pretty fascinating, man. It's fascinating how all this stuff kind of comes around again, but then is also created in the lure of music history.
For sure.
And it's like the classic story of Led Zeppelin with recording the guitar tracks. You use the Supro, right? That's
Yeah.
like the tail of I guess from Zeppelin 1 or Zeppelin 2. I don't remember which record, but that's always a thing. That's always like a huge thing too now too. Yeah. Well, always has been, but that's a perfect example of like this whole thread we're talking about.
Yep.
So yeah, I would say if you find something cool, turtleneck, hold on to it. Seems
Oh
right.
yeah, the 1484s are cool, man. That's the twin 12. The 1481 actually I think is my favorite. That's a little TV front single 12.
Oh, okay.
I had a 1483 that I got for, I think I paid $30 for it. Kid in Kingston had it, which that was the bass amp model of the basically the twin 12. It had a single 15 instead of two 12s, but a very similar head, and it nested in the back. And it blew the fuse, and he lost the cap for the fuse holder, so he hung it on Craigslist for like, I think $50. I'm pretty sure I went home with that for $30. I put a set of tubes in it and recapped it, and I sold it for like $400 and some dollars to some guy in fucking New Paltz. I think I had that thing for maybe like 2 or 3 years. It sat around and flipped it.
Yo, Mr. Basic, what up, Ken? He said one way or the other, I'm getting the Model 24. Nice, man.
And the side note on that VHS thing, if you're gonna do bounces to that, make sure you're checking somehow what your audio levels are like, because if you clip those fucking heads, it's gonna sound like shit. They do not put up with audio clipping well at all. So you totally can do it. I mean, it is what it is, but just be aware of that.
Whoa. Yeah, Stefan's saying might get a Zoom 16 R16. I've thought about getting those too at one point, just because it's more practical for live stuff. I don't know. Zoom stuff has such a good reputation. I've never heard anything bad about it, other than that it's like a little cheap. But
Well, I mean, it's plastic shit.
yeah,
As long as you're all right with plastic shit, you're good.
yeah. I've never had a reason to dive into it. So
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting that, like the one you guys have, or Simon has. You know, like the H5 or H4 or H6.
Yep.
H6 looks dope, but I just don't know if I would wind up using it. But what's cool is I think you could use it for something like this, even, you know.
Yeah, most
Rather
of those
than have
things you
this,
can.
You could just like stream the audio.
Yep.
Yeah. Some of them you can literally just use the whole thing as like a streaming device.
Well, actually, all of them will work that way. Even that old H2 that I got.
Really?
If you plug into the line output of that thing, and you push the record button one time, it enables audio pass-through microphone to output.
Oh, wow. So
If
they
you
were
push
making
record,
that in.
if you record again, push record again, then it will actually record.
Wow.
So the first press of record is like input arm, so that you can listen to it in set level. But it'll stay in that function until you push that record button again.
Damn,
So
that's cool.
I don't think it defaults back out of that.
That's
It's
cool.
not quite as as creatively laid out as the Q2 HD is, the camera one. That one is dedicated as like a webcam or audio device or card reader or whatever.
So that's actually segues really well into something else I was gonna bring up, another topic.
Oh yeah.
Well, just something I was thinking about. I've seen a lot of videos. I'm sure as everybody else has. NAMM 2019.
Yeah.
I've steered pretty far clear of as much of that stuff as I can. I looked at the new Electron stuff. I don't know. Did you hear about anything? Did anybody in the chat? Anybody hear about anything that looks cool?
The one dude from Kingtone went.
Oh, really?
Will, yeah.
His son?
Yeah. He didn't really report much back though.
No.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really been keeping much of an eye on that stuff.
I kept
I was
a-
gonna just look at some of the news about it now.
I kept a pretty sharp eye on it on Instagram while it was all going on.
Oh,
but
really?
I didn't really see much of anything that was like, oh my god, what is that? I gotta have one of those.
Well, that's the
It was
reason
like, you
I was
know.
saying is 'cause Zoom put out this thing that's like a.
Well, TascFam did a relaunch this year too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Of what?
I don't fucking know.
They just like showed up there.
But they're there. Yeah, they had a booth. And they were partnered actually with something with Burger Records, I think, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. We should look into that. That sounds like it would be under the the banner of things we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so TascFam, well, the Zoom thing, so they had was, it's like a 3D, I think 3D audio device for like streaming or just recording. And it kind of, you can use it as like binaural. And I think it's meant for doing like sound in like eventually people are gonna do like 3D live streams or 3D concert audio.
So it's kind of like a Decatree setup, 3 mics.
Yeah.
So that you get depth of field, but also left and right.
Right. And I don't know I don't remember the price point of it or whatever.
Probably
Hashtag
astronomical.
not sponsored, but I
Are
was
you
wondering
getting chat updates?
who would want to be using that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is the chat working? I don't know.
There we go.
Our 2 years pre and the model TascFam model 24 best of now. Yeah, a friend of mine sent me a link to a video of this crazy preamp from Chase Bliss. Yeah, Chase Bliss does some crazy stuff. At one point I was looking at looked at their offerings. They offer some pretty nuts. The thing with Chase Bliss for me personally is I just like my head explodes when there's more than like 3 knobs on like a pedal. Like God bless anybody who can manipulate that stuff, because I'm just a dummy, I guess. I can't. It's just too much for me. I don't know. So I guess I'm just stuck where I am. But yeah, I haven't really seen much. Okay, cool. I'm not alone with that. I was thinking about, yeah, that's true too. That's a really good point too. Matt, what's up, buddy? I saw you before, man. Sorry the thing was chopping out. Thanks for coming through, man. Perfect attendance. I'm looking at some of the NAV stuff now. So what's this TascFam Burger Records thing? That sounds really.
I don't know. It was something that Burger Records, I'm pretty sure it was Burger, put up on their Instagram.
I'm gonna just Google it. See what
Pretty sure it was them. Yeah, Earthquaker's cool shit too.
Looks like they were doing some kind of, okay.
It was like a giveaway, or was I right? Was it Burger?
Yep.
Yeah.
Combo deck. Win a TascFam CD A5.
Oh, is that what it was?
Has teamed up with TascFam for the NAMM show now. We're giving away 1 CD USB cassette deck. Nice. Cool. I thought it was going to be something a little more tape oriented, but then, yeah, I mean, I guess that is tape oriented. But thinking like Burger, you know, like that's pretty nuts.
Burger's got some interesting bands and some really shit bands too.
Isn't that like every label?
I don't know. The Burger roster's fucking huge though. Did you ever actually like look through their roles, man? Holy fuck. Like everybody is or was on that label at some point.
Right.
It's crazy.
Well, they also had that label, I think it was called Wiener, that was like a subsidy of Burger. And it was like a
Oh yeah.
pay to
Yep.
play or something.
Yep. Matt, the cockfight, yeah. I sold one of those to somebody actually, and he really likes it. He does like the there's one fucking, was it a Doors song? It was like a cocked wah sound at the top of the song. That's what he does with it. But they're interesting. I mean, if you need a variable filter like that. And the dealer price on those really isn't that bad, I don't think.
Holy cow, those are $400 and up. That's gotta be another.
What's that?
The Chase Bliss stuff.
Oh yeah,
It's fucking
yeah. That
cool.
shit's
It looks-
fucking
it
steep.
looks cool, but I've seen like videos that Channel Knobs does on them. The sounds and stuff are really cool. It seems like endless tinkering, but again, that's kind of my thing. Is I don't know. That, as anybody, probably everybody knows in the chat, just like the limitations of the 4-track is what I think draws a lot of people to using it still, and you know, just simpler stuff. For me personally, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but you know, it's just you know, I'd love to tweak around with it, but I feel like I would just get lost in it. It's almost like overwhelming, you know, like when you have like every option before you.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
It's really easy to get buried.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't mean to be like negative though, because does seem like they make some cool stuff. Yeah, I really haven't caught up much with NAMM stuff. I don't know. I mean, as everybody knows, if you want to download the free ebook, The Cure for Gas, it's at 424recording.com. Little plug there for you. It's a free ebook. I think it's like 20 pages. It'll be a good primer for the next thing I'm working on. So definitely read up on it. There'll be a quiz coming out soon. But yeah, I don't know. Because my thing is like I think it's cool. Companies are putting stuff out. I would like to attend NAMM at some point and see the whole.
What I heard is that it was like teeming with YouTubers,
Oh really?
not just people like doing exhibitions or whatever, but also people walking around filming shit for their channels and.
Yeah, I
So,
saw a lot
I
of
don't know.
like people and channels that I follow that were there. I know Steven from Noir Blanc V was there. And some of the other bigger YouTubers too. I mean, Steven, I think he's a big YouTuber. But yeah, that's really cool. I think that's awesome. That's what I'd like to do, man. Is like go there and interview some people, stick a mic in some people's faces, and ask them what's up. Ask them what they think about their products. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just bring a little bit different of a conversation to it. But I don't know. I mean, maybe what's the deal? Nashville one is like coming up
Yeah, the Nashville one's never been really the one to go to though.
because it's like summer or what's
It's just
it's like mid-year,
it's not the big one.
right?
I don't know how else to put it. That's just not the
Maybe, all right, maybe next year if we're still kicking it 424 style, this time of year, we're going to NAMM.
It's really not that hard to get a pass to go do that.
It's like cue the music and then Jay's like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to do.
It's not.
Well, I think getting there is like it's halfway. It's across the Anaheim, right?
Yeah.
And then what is it? It's like a week long or something.
Yeah, it's 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
All right.
It's not that bad. It's a $500 flight to
Well, that's what I'm
LAX.
saying, that's what I'm
Then you
saying.
got to get from LAX to
The
Anaheim,
whole weekend.
which you can do in an Uber, which will cost you probably about $50 fucking dollars.
You got a place to crash.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I mean, who
suppose you
knows
do.
if they're partnering with YouTube stuff, maybe they'll sponsor your flight or some shit.
I doubt that. The musical merchants, I don't think they give half a shit. Most of them, but
I don't know, some of these conferences and things that I was looking at, they're just giving tickets away. I mean, and obviously NAMM is different, but these conventions.
yeah, NAMM is different because you have to know somebody or be part of a company to get in there. But that's about where the difficulty ends, because
But that's not really that hard if you're.
not at all, because all
you,
of
like,
those,
look around for a second.
all the companies that are exhibitors or whatever have a dedicated number of passes assigned to them. They just have to put names in the boxes. So it's simple enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to scope it out. I definitely admit I'm curious about it. I've never been to one. I went to that board game convention. That was really cool. And that was the first convention I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I just think it would be fun to run around there with a camera and just like meet all these people and be like, what is up? What's up with this? Because I just feel like a lot of those videos, I don't know.
The thing about NAMM is it's loud, it's busy.
That's
You
probably why.
walk your fucking ass off. And I don't mean that lightly. Like,
It's like a humongous arena.
it's fucking enormous. And it's multiple floors. Like, day one, you'll cover the basement. The basement's where all, like, the newer companies and the startup companies and stuff are. That's a really good place to hang out. And then the upper floor is all the bigger manufacturers and maybe a few small guys filtered in, but like Electro Harmonics will be up there, like over in Drum World, like DW and Pearl and all them got all their big shit set up, and then there's like DJ World where all the new turntable shit is and all the crazy light stuff is, and DMX things and
Basically
smoke
set up like a
machines
news
and
story.
But it's, yeah, but it's, you know, like, I forget how many square feet that fucking building is, but it's a monster. And then the top floor is, when I was there anyway, it was Fender, somebody else, maybe Gibson, and I think Steinway Pianos actually was down like at the end of that hallway, which was weird. But when you went in like the Fender part, it's like it was almost like a fucking cave. It was like wood-lined walls with like Fender guitars all around and like special models and like glass boxes built into the sidewalls and shit. It was pretty fucking sweet.
So I mean, like just the spectacle of it.
But
like something that's
the bottom floor is where you meet people who are still figuring out how to do stuff.
that sounds
Those
like
are the
most
people to
interesting
fucking
me.
meet.
Yeah.
You know, the guy who just started a business like electroplating guitar hardware or whatever, like that's a guy you want to learn, you want to meet right now. Before the thing that he's offering costs 17 times as much in 2 years, meet him now. Get in good, get in at that price rate. If that's something you're going to need, you know. Startup pedal company. You want to do something with that pedal company? You need to meet them this year because by next year they're going to be moving fucking 10,000 units and won't have time to talk to you. You know? That's the place to be. But like Death by Audio was there this year. I think it was their first year.
Yeah, in the bottom part? Or?
I'm not sure if they were in the. I imagine they were probably in the bottom part.
That? Like the.
I don't know. I don't remember.
But it's just like there's like a floor for that.
But like the basement level is like the. Like a lot of the Asian market vendors are down there. The ones who are building like knockoff kind of amps and you know. If your music store wants to have a cheap amp to offer with their own logo on it, like those, you know, Japanese guys in business suits over in the corner on like, you know, whatever row F or whatever, they're the ones to talk to for that. But you know, but it was cool, man. I mean, you know, it's fun.
Yeah, it'd be cool to
If you
meet
like
people.
gear, you go and fuck with shit all day long, and as you walk around that place, you will inevitably walk past tons of people that you recognize from either the internet or magazines or
Yeah,
books
That's what I
or
mean, like
whatever.
it'd
They're
be
all
cool just
fucking
to see
hanging
them.
out,
Yeah.
you know.
It kind of, you know, that's the kind of thing is like, with all this stuff and, you know, making a channel, like, I mean, obviously it's not necessarily the mission statement of the channel, but like, I think it would just be cool to be around people doing similar things in terms of video and talking about music, because that's something I'm realized I've become more passionate about than just playing music. I think it's fun to talk about, you know, creative strategies for getting things done, and you know, gas in terms of equipment and what equipment you actually need. And I think it would be cool to approach the convention with that kind of lens, because I don't see that sort of lens represented there.
And if you get bored, you could go to Disneyland. It's right next door.
Boom, sounds good.
Or Disney, whichever the fuck it is there. I think it's World. I don't know.
Mr. Basis said YouTubers get an influencer pass. Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's
That would be cool.
I don't want to go to NAMM. I have anxiety already. That's my thing too, like social anxiety. Plus, NAMM might kill me. Is that like a thing? All those sickly people. NAMM.
I didn't have any problem with that. I actually did get sick while I was there, but I got sick before we even went to NAMM. I got sick from the fucking flight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I had like the sniffles the whole time I was there.
That sucks.
That did suck, but you know.
Sniffles.
Yeah, this is just like fucking post-nasal drip and shit, like for no reason, just whatever. Actually, I think it was from the Nicotrol inhaler I used on the plane. I think that's what did it. I was just
That
huffing
sounds
that fucking
pretty
thing.
nasty,
It's
man.
huffing that fucking thing. I still got it. It's in my backpack. Still got it.
That sounds pretty rotten. Raunchy.
It's tough.
Anyway, I don't know. So Nashville's not that place to be then. I've never been to Nashville either.
I haven't been to the Nashville. You never been to Nashville, like
I've never been to Nashville.
the city?
Out of like all the places, yeah, that's like one of the last places I feel like in the U.S.
It's all
not
right.
the last place to ever go, but it's one of the few places that, like, name of a city I've been there, you know, but that's one I haven't been to.
There's a vintage guitar place on the, I forget what the street is, but I almost want to say it was Black Book Guitars, but I don't think that's right. But in downtown Nashville, there's a vintage guitar place that, like, everything in the room that you're allowed to go in is, like, worth more than most of the shit you own combined. And then, like, if you have, like, a big name, then there's a whole other room you get to go in And that's where like the Dumbles and all that kind of shit is hiding. You know, it's like
Like the speakeasy, you gotta say the password to get in type.
it's like if they don't recognize you walking in the door, you're not going there.
Right.
Yeah, but that place was fucking cool though. We were in there for a couple hours. Got some cool amps and shit. All of it, like, you know. I don't think there was anything in there that was less than $1,000.
Oh my god.
But
Yo, Aaron, what? Thanks for coming through. Good to see you. We've just been
It's
talking,
good.
catching. Jay and I've been catching up. We're talking a little bit about NAM and all that stuff. I don't know. What else were we talking about? We're talking about like acquiring used gear on the used market and how it's like, you know, evolved and been different since the advent of the internet, and also Reverb, and also like, you know, the hunt for good deals and such.
well, Reverb was the big turnaround because it gave anybody who wants to sell an
No,
easy
Reverb,
outlet.
It's a brilliant idea, man. I'm surprised
Fuck yeah.
that we thought of that sooner. You know,
Well, it's what eBay used to be.
well, eBay is like everything.
No, but I mean when it comes to selling musical equipment, like eBay used to be like Reverb is now.
Right.
Like any fucking thing you wanted, it was on there, and there were several of them.
Right.
You know, and
I mean that's why it's brilliant because you know it's just a place for just music gear, and eBay just for music gear. That's basically better than eBay or how eBay used to be. You know, that's a great business idea. If anybody has business ideas, just make a niche eBay for whatever it is you're
Right.
passionate about.
yeah, I don't know about the Namthrax thing.
That
I didn't.
doesn't sound- maybe
I didn't
won't
really.
know.
I didn't really experience that, but
Too much handshaking.
yeah, but there's
Yeah.
lots of bathrooms around the convention center, so you should really be washing your hands anyway.
I can see that. It's like, and then people are traveling from all over to get there. And
Yeah, it's all funky.
it's all funky.
It's all funky. You get to meet Mike Matthews and his fucking ever increasingly large cigars.
Yeah, I mean, all those major, like you said, anybody who's you've ever seen in a magazine or in a video about in a company, like,
Yeah,
it seems like they go there.
yeah.
That's what I mean. It'd be a fun place to go and like talk to some people and meet some people, and that's probably how you get in Anthrax. Like you said, handshakes all around.
Someday I'll dig up the pictures that I took at NAMM.
Yeah, that would be cool, man. What year did you go?
It was 2011, I think.
Cool.
Been a while,
Very cool.
but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a thing either. That's funny. I mean,
I took a picture of Dave Navarro that looks like he's about to suck a dick. It's
oh,
fucking
really?
brilliant. Yeah, that's in there somewhere.
Was he like playing guitar or something?
No, he was sitting at this table and he was talking to some girl, and he's like, and I took that picture, man. It's fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that guy.
How
He's
many-
such
so
an
there's, like,
asshole.
a lot of like those. Like,
There's tons of fucking.
like,
Most of them
people in
are.
bands are walking around.
There's a lot of like. I hate to use the term. But there's a lot of like has-beens there. A lot.
I heard something about like yeah,
Like-
there's like a certain not epidemic, but what is that called? Certain
I don't know, but like.
not epidemic, but like a certain cross section of people that are like white, like old rocker guy
Yeah.
or something.
Well, you know, I mean,
It's
there
like
were.
the California burnout
Yeah, the
rocker guy.
the bass player from Sublime. I met a half hour after I was hanging out with the bass player for the Foo Fighters, both in the Ashdown booth. One of them extremely relevant now, the other wasn't even relevant then. You know. But like, I don't know, like fucking Orianthi was there and she was hot still that year. Like people still cared about her musical output or whatever, so she was there. The Queensryche guys were there. Yeah, I mean,
Because I feel like
it really
in just
depends on what.
California in general, there's probably a lot of people in bands hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, living out there anyway, so it's
Yeah.
because that's the thing is like
Well, most of the people you see walking the floor though are there because they're whatever company endorses them is showing
Oh, I
there,
see.
so they're like on float, but you know they get passes to be there. But eventually you're gonna see them sitting as exhibitors or curiosities at those booths, you know. But whatever. Sinbad was there. He was shopping through acoustic guitars.
What?
Yeah.
Just like hanging out. That's fun.
Yeah. That's a weird looking motherfucker in real life. But you know, but like Larry Crane from Tape Op was walking around.
Yo, Bean Trees, what's going on, buddy? Late to the party. Oh, it's all good. We have some technical difficulties, so they seem to be sorted out now. We're just chilling, man. Talking Nam, talking about some Jay's old war stories. Talking about maybe going to one at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, motherfucking Sinbad.
Seeing what's going on there. I don't know. I think if it made sense.
Kyle Gass from Tenacious D was there also.
Oh, cool.
Actually, he was there at the same time
Right,
Sinbad was there.
too. Like those kind of guys. Like,
It's always like the B guys.
right.
Like Dave Grohl's not showing up, but Nate Mendel's there.
Right. Like the celebrity of, and also just,
Yeah.
actors and people
Yeah.
like that too. It makes sense that they would show
Well,
up.
you know, like I'll use Queensryche as an example. Not that anybody really gives half a shit about them anyway, but Queensryche, the guitar player and I think the bass player were walking around together. Jeff Tate, the voice of that band since forever, not there. It's always like the least recognizable guys that are there from the bands, you know.
Right. Like if you didn't know what they looked like,
Right.
you wouldn't know who, if
No.
it wouldn't be anybody, yeah.
Pretty much. But it's a great, like, it's not uncommon for people to run into like the Sylvia Massies of the industry and people like that, on the floor. That would totally be a normal thing. And whether you stop them and talk to them and whether they're willing to stop and talk to you is totally luck of the draw. But, I got my Mike Matthews photo, so I was happy enough about that.
You gotta find these photos.
Yeah, they're on that laptop
that'd be
there.
funny. Young Jay chilling in Cali.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
There's a picture, I don't think I shared it this year, but usually around the time NAMM comes up, there's a Facebook memory. I never showed you that?
No.
I'll show you.
TBT?
It's Facebook, whatever the fuck they do. I'll find it and show you.
What else is up? What's been going on, James? What else, guys? Anybody have any? Well, Jay's looking for that picture. Let's take the final 20 minutes. Any recording questions anybody has?
Wow, there's only fucking 20 minutes left? What the fuck?
Yeah, man, it's been fucking flying by.
I guess so.
Yeah, any questions about Sinbad, recording, music,
Sinbad.
whatever?
I don't want to know nothing about
Sinbad.
Sinbad recording music.
Let's put the last 20 minutes as a structured Q&A for Jay and his
God.
encyclopedic knowledge of stuff. Or we'll just chill and ramble on. Because that's how we roll. I gotta look into this YouTube influencer pass for next year.
Sounds legitimate. How the fuck do I find the... How do I find pictures of me, though? Jesus.
Oh, this is for 20... Oh, okay. Badge qualifications. I don't know. It's so funny, just looking at the site, I'm like, I don't know. Let's see, maybe NAMM Nashville. So you don't think NAMM Nashville would be one to go to?
I mean, everything I've ever heard about it is that it's not really worth it.
The only thing I like is that it's a car ride from. not that's like, that's pretty close, like compared to Cali. I mean, I guess it's further travel time, but the fact that we could jump into a car or we could jump into a car and go, like, that's like way more appealing.
Yeah.
It seems like it's definitely not as popular though. Wow, they have 15,000 or 730 like retailers there. 1,600 brands, 15,000 registrants. I guess that's the people showing up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look at this when we're not streaming. I don't know.
I found that fucking picture and then I lost it again.
Mike, search Anthrax. Okay. Thoughts on Harley Benton guitars, other equipment? They have a $200 12-string and cheap clones of other stuff. I've never heard of that band. Have you heard of that?
I have. I've never played one.
Harley Benton. Oh, we'll check it out. Yo, Young, what up? What do you think of people using GarageBand on their phone to record their music? Steve Lacey, do you think it's modern day equivalent to the Porter Studio? Oh, awesome question, Young. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I would say that. I would say it is. I think it's really cool that people use GarageBand to record their phone. I've seen some videos of some artists doing so, and I think that's really cool. I think I would do it more if I wasn't so accustomed to using the computer, just having grown up using a computer and also using the 4-track stuff. I would say yeah. I would say it is the modern equivalent to the Porter Studio because it is simplified. I know there's apps that are just 4-track apps, but I know GarageBand. I don't know how many tracks you can do in there, but I don't know how great the technology is. But you know, like I think you need to use like an iRig or something to get your guitar in. I don't know. I'd love to do some videos on that actually, of recording on there and seeing what's up. What do you think, Jay?
Using GarageBand on your phone?
Yeah.
I don't really have an opinion.
Okay.
I think if that works for you to create stuff, you should go for it.
Yeah, I think anything that gives people the ability to create in a manner.
I feel like my workflow would be about for shit on cell phone.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, like I don't know how it would work in terms of, say you wanted to record. I guess you could record people doing that, but I don't know. I don't know if people would want to show up to a studio to pay somebody to record them on like an iPhone.
I would think not.
GarageBand. I guess that's like kind of a different conversation, but
Yeah.
in terms of Young's question, I would say, yeah. And I think any technology that gives people access to an idea or a creative process that they normally wouldn't have access to, I think is awesome, and I'm all for that. And I've seen more and more stuff about it. Oh,
That's
nice.
when I went to NAMM.
Nice, man. You look like you're having fun.
It was a good time.
But yeah, I would love to do some more stuff with that and get more into that. It was great for traveling too, like if you're on a plane or something.
The guy in the middle is a guitar player from Queensryche.
Nice,
That was when
man.
I was teching the Queensryche shit.
Nice, dude. It's funny. Yeah, use what you have available. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say too.
And that's what's cool, right? It's, if you have a phone, you can get it. All right, Matt. We'll check out Anthrax.
Oh, here's that same picture, but where I'm not smoking.
Nice, dude. So how did you know the people that you went with there? Is it like a music shop or something?
No, it's my friend Dave, whose studio I used to work in. So that's me. Obviously, that's Donnie. That was the guy I'd never flown before. I had to like hold his hand for takeoff and
I
shit.
heard about that, yeah.
Dave is the guy next to that. Donnie and Dave went to high school together. Guy in the yellow shirt is Jason Von Rakowski. He also went to high school with them. And then the kid on the end is the nephew of Dave's best friend who had died. So it's this kid Aiden. Aiden is a farrier. Shoes horses for a living.
Whoa.
It's a fucking brutal trade, man.
That's cool.
Crazy shit. But he's a super nice kid, though.
Nice.
Hell of a fucking guitar player, too. So we all went out. Jason lives out there, so the four of us went out and then
Oh, that's right.
hung out
You
with him.
crashed there, right?
Nope, we crashed at what the fuck was her name? I should remember too. That's horrible. Stayed at a woman's house who used to be she's the ex-girlfriend of Mike Todd from ex-bass player at Coheed and Cambria.
Nice, man.
But she's a gynecologist, so she's never home. She works in LA delivering babies and shit. She had a house in Long Beach. So she turned the house over to us for the whole time we were there. We were there for like, I think 5 days we were there. But yeah. I don't see any more of the NAMM pictures though. I'll have to find those and put them up. Put them up.
Yeah, some great suggestions here from everybody, and using the modern apps and stuff. Yeah, you know, I really like the voice recording app too is really cool. It's just like an app that comes with the iPhone software, and it's, you know, a single track, right? But it's very cool in terms of, yeah, I was using something similar to that, but that would be really cool too if you could. Just using that as demoing stuff, and, you know, getting an idea for something if you're playing live, or need to record an idea for something really quickly. I love using it for that. It's so useful. Okay, so Young said they've been recording an EP with their phone and
Yep.
GarageBand. That's sick.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. In the car, sick. Cool stuff. Definitely, I second Bean Trees. Yeah, share that shit. You get it done.
You know, some of the tracks that we put together for the Walking Bombs project were made out of vocal tracks that were cut that way. Just in
really?
voice recorder in the phone, yeah.
That's cool.
I took them and denoised them and compressed them and shit. We
Awesome.
turned them into songs. Not really the most
Oh,
articulate
they
way
were
to do
like
it.
some of his ideas that he just got in.
Yeah, and I took them and chopped them up and cleaned them up. Yeah.
Oh, what's that Matt shared here? Oh, what is an anthrax? A particular virulent strain of nastiness that reaches everyone. Portions of the annual winter shot. The bug attacks turn decimals.
Holy shit.
Wow, so that's crazy. That's like a thing. We'll have to get vaccinated before we go. If we ever go. That's funny, man. I've never heard of that. It shows how in the loop I am.
Yeah, I never heard of that either, though. But then I've been there,
That's
so
true.
I don't know.
That's true. You were there. So.
I don't know. Maybe I was the bringer. Caught that shit on the plane and I started it. The convention center's just laced with it now because I was there.
The first
I was fucking there.
The first rumblings of it was 2011, so that would make sense. Wait, so that was your whole plan, huh? Your plan all along. It's like
spread infectious diseases from coast to coast. I guess so.
It's so funny, man.
Man.
Man, I can't believe we got through this stream without mention of you know who. Patient Zero, he's right here. Patient Zero with anthrax. You heard it here first. Oh man.
Oh man, it's just about cigarette time. It feels like.
Yeah, I guess you want to call it. Any last questions out there? We got a little bit of time left.
Not my house, but thank you.
Yeah, this place is sick, man. It's really nice, like great vibe in here.
I wish this was my house.
I'm surprised you. The fact that they never come here. I mean,
I can't move into their house just because they don't come here.
well, I mean, you could ask them, like, oh, but all their shit's here. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no.
It's not. Yeah, it does feel lived
Plus-
in. Like it feels like somebody could be living here right now.
This house is creepy as shit when you turn all the lights off anyway. Not about it.
Yeah, the upstairs is a little freaky, I thought, for some reason. All right, Knight, have a good one. Coop, get that ramen going. Hang with the lady.
Yeah.
Pod by Ween, dope album, man.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's the Scotch Guard album, right? And I think it was recorded on a 4-track. Yeah, great stuff, man. I'm a fan. I remember seeing an interview with Dean and Gene. They were on some weird talk show at one point. They actually talk about a 4-track. That's one of the questions the interviewer asked them, and they say, Yeah, you gotta make really good songs because you only got 4 tracks. You can
Well,
only
the
do
like
so much.
the Mollusk was the SR16 Elise's drum machine
Right,
into an ADAT.
right.
I'm pretty sure it was the Mollusk that was ADAT. It's either the Mollusk or it was chocolate and cheese. Was it chocolate
Yeah,
and cheese?
they've used like pretty much everything,
Yeah.
every form of recording technology. I think.
It wouldn't surprise me if they're playing live with one. Not at all.
Oh, that's awesome, Turtle. Like, yeah, the Discord is still popping off. I think it's still getting its legs. Still trying to figure out the use for it. I've been looking at Simon the Magpies. He's got a pretty prolific Discord community. You gotta see what his secret is for getting that like a place where people hang out. I think it would be a good place for questions and people
Yeah.
working on stuff and I'm just really slow to getting it set up.
Chocolate and cheese was DAT, not
If you have
ADAT.
a
Are you
vision
sure?
for it, Turtleneck, let me know. Was it Dat?
Could be. I'd believe it.
It's this Matt. Oh yeah, the Electron model samples. I watched this video too. You might be able to see I think I'll have to comment on it. No, maybe not. Yeah, model samples looks cool. It definitely looks good for anybody who wants to get into Electron stuff. Oh, that erased my chat. Oh no, here it is. Yeah, the new that thing looks pretty cool. I would love to get my hands on that thing and try it out. It seems like a good entry point to Electron stuff. I really like the Electron stuff. I really do think it's a new wave of instruments that is only going to become more popular because it's very hands-on, very tactile, but it's not just pushing play on a laptop. They really are like instruments that you can interact with, much like any instrument you would buy, whether it's a drum or a clarinet or a guitar. So yeah, that thing looks really cool. I would love to. I'd love to check that out. I don't know if I ever will, but yeah. I also think that video is not the best at explaining it. I feel like. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Books.google.com. Ween chocolate and cheese. The Ween album Chocolate and Cheese. Fuck. I just zoomed too far. Chocolate and Cheese was the first Ween album to make use of digital recording, specifically a VHS tape-based format called ADAT, which Weiss used in tandem with the computer. Today's digital recording is a snap, but the early 90s equipment Weiss had to contend with presented constant headaches. Pro Tools didn't even exist, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Trying to see what else it says. What happened?
Oh, I just have like a spinning wheel of death on here, but it looks like very weird. Mild samples is a great synth for your kitchen. Oh, you can't sample on that thing? I gotta look more into it. Oh, it's kind of like you have to load your samples to it. Is that the idea? Honestly, the Digitakt is fucking dope, man. I would just, if I was looking into any Electron stuff, which I was, I would go Digitakt. I mean, some of the other ones look cool too. The bigger guys, like the Analog 4 and Octatrack, but those are very. For me, the learning curve I think would just be too steep. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's a good introduction into the Electron stuff and the Electron workflow. And I think they know what they're doing, man. I don't know. I think they're a really good company. And I think the stuff they make is exciting and it makes you want to play it. But I don't know, to each their own, you know. All right, so we settled the Wien.
I don't think there's really anything to settle. It's not like it was a
we
competition.
We figured out what was up.
But yeah.
Cool. All right. Any last Jay? What up with that? Matt, you have a Jay? What up with that to end the stream on?
Oh, I know what we almost forgot.
Oh. Oh yeah, Matt. We have the food.
Cheese curls, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Curls, cheese curls.
That's right. How can we forget about these? Jay's been saving these up. Hell yeah. These are like Earl's cheese curls. Oh my god.
They're fucking cheesy.
Holy cow. Wow, these are great.
I'm gonna fucking pass out now.
Matt.
I'm gonna food coma on this shit.
Oh my god, these are so good. Wait, so what's the deal with these? They're like made out there?
Mm.
Oh yeah, made in Minnesota. Oh my god, these are so good.
I've never had a cheese puff quite like this.
Addicting.
Yeah, I could see that. Jesus.
Oh my god, Earl's. Dude, these are like, we should just save these for the stream, man. We'll like,
I think that's what we'll do.
yeah.
The safest place in this house is probably in that fridge, so maybe that's what I'll do.
These are like the best cheese puffs I've ever had. Gotta be, hands down.
I'm gonna be fucking dehydrated by the time we hit the bottom of this bag.
Seal it off,
Very
bro.
salty. I can't.
Turtleneck said, this is why everybody thinks you're stoned. Bust out the cheese puffs, bro! It's time for cheese puffs, man!
Hey, the cheese puffs are not my fault.
Oh yeah, we have a Ziploc for him.
Matt fucking sent those. That's not my fault.
Thanks, bro.
Sorry, it's a little wet. I
That's
rinsed my
actually
hand
works
off
good,
there.
man. Dude, those are so good. I've never had cheese puffs like that.
Me either.
I like that they say party time on them. That's really cool. So is it?
Then we'll get to the salted nut roll next time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the flavor of this is gonna mix good with the flavor of that probably.
Right.
So it's one or
Have you
the
had
other,
those
not
before?
both. Hmm?
Have you had that before?
I have not. I did find that the import candy section in Adams Fairacre Farms in Kingston also stocks these. So once we get into those, if you like them, now you can get more.
We'll be able to get more without having to.
These, we're gonna have to. We'll have to just set up a thing with Matt.
Do you want to send snacks to
Box 151, New Paltz, New York.
You want to send us like your favorite treats? Yeah, hit us up. PO Box 151, New Paltz, New York 12561. We're gonna just have like a pile of stuff next week.
Holy shit. Alright.
So we actually
On
have,
the reel, I'm gonna put these away.
Yeah.
You won't?
Matt said no. Matt
Sure?
said yeah. All right, let me get one more. Matt
That's what I
said
thought you were gonna say.
they don't keep good unless you put them in a Ziploc.
Well, they're going back in a Ziploc. How about that?
I love how they say party time on them. Party time, bro.
What are the little triangles in the party time banner do you suspect?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was balloons.
Op-amps, I think that's what it is.
Op-amps.
Yep. Microchips.
It's a secret
I'll
message.
just leave those there. We'll close them up
good
again.
idea, good idea.
Oh, question?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We got a couple of really good things from here. Okay, so the last question: samplers versus sample players. What up with that, Jay?
say again.
Samplers versus sample players. What up with that, Jay?
Samplers versus I don't even know. I don't really understand the basis of that question. Can I get that in a sentence?
I think what Matt's getting at is something that something that you can actually sample something into, or something that just plays samples back.
Oh. I think something that just plays samples back is probably about the most useless thing I've ever heard.
Right.
If it can't sample, but
That's like that
it's
new Digitakt, or the
basically if it can't sample something, then all it is a rudimentary sequencer.
Right.
That's what you call something that just plays back samples. It's a sequencer.
Right.
Sequencers are for shit.
So samplers
Because
versus sequencers.
all samplers that I'm aware of can sequence, but not most sequencers are not capable of sampling.
Mhm.
So I don't know why you would have just a straight sequencer, unless you were like Trent Reznor in 1991. That would
Right.
make sense
It
then.
does seem a little archaic now that we're.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would do it.
Huh.
So I'm not sure that I have a defined outlook on that. I would say what I've said is about as much as I can think about it.
No, yeah, no, I didn't even consider that. The other thing, Jason said, I've gotten SK1 to sample, and my kid likes to sample herself saying butt and play it back. That sounds like a pretty good use for it.
Sounds like every kid when they figure out some way to record their own voice.
Yeah. All right, I guess with that.
Is that all right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, well,
He's probably not going to make it through the night.
stay gold, pony boy.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thanks for sending this. This is awesome that we finally got to do this stuff, man.
We didn't even have to use the
Don't say it.
alarm.
Yeah, nobody said it this week. That's a record, man. So we do like an outro, a little Kevin Shields outro.
Oh, you said it.
All right.
Fuck.
Good times, guys. Thanks for bearing with us with the technical bits.